Welcome everybody to the latest episode of Remitbee AMA. Thank you all for tuning in. We are here today with Jana Chibanu from the Immigrant Education Society, and we'll be discussing LICU programs that the government has regarding learning English and the different streams that you can, depending on why you want to learn English, what you're trying to achieve, and being a newcomer in Canada. Welcome, Jana. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Benita, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm in Calgary, and you guys are all over Canada. So my name is Jana Chibanu, and I am the LINC Program Manager at the Immigrant Education Society in Calgary. I have been working in the immigration sector for more than 12 years, I should say. So I've worked at the YWCA and at Columbia College. I've done LINC, I've done ESL, I've been a PBLA lead. I kind of done it all. And right now I work for the Immigrant Education Society, and I manage the LINC program. And we will later today talk about the LINC program. So the Immigrant Education Society is a quite old organization in Calgary. So we've been on the market for more than 30 years. We have 3 locations in Calgary, one at the Whitehorn, one in the Forest Lawn, and one at West Wind. We provide 4 streams of services. So we provide language, employment, settlement, and research. And I do work for the language stream or for the LINC program. What we're going to look at today, so we're going to talk about how do we access settlement services, what the language learning goals are, how you can do a language self-assessment test, how you find a language referral center, and what would your language learning journey look like. Would you choose LINC or ESL? And we'll touch a little bit on Canadian culture and workplace cultures. I think there is no language without culture, so they're kind of interrelated. So I believe that this both language and culture are important for a newcomer to Canada. Okay, so when you start your journey, so one thing you would like to ask yourself is, what exactly do you need English for? Do you want to learn English because you want to apply for citizenship, or do you want to pursue your education goals? Do you want to seek employment? What exactly is this English needed for? Why this is important to look at the goals, because depending on what your goals are, you might need to access different language programs. So for example, if you are trying to apply for citizenship, all you need is to access the LINC program. So you have to be in the LINC program up to CLB 4, and once you hit 4 and 4 in listening and speaking, you are good to go and you are ready to apply for citizenship. Those people who are busy with life, employment, children, and they can't be in the LINC program, so another option is to go and take the CELPIP test, which is also an option, for those people who want to apply for citizenship test.
So I have a question. So these are tests that you can take once you've already landed in Canada?
Yes, so I'm going to talk about this, just in a minute. So I'll answer that question. Absolutely, yes. So is it okay if I continue? Because this is the question I'm going to answer.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So if you need to study English, for example, so you want to study English for your education goals, then the LINC program or taking IELTS test, TOEFL test, or ESL classes will get you there. If you're thinking about employment, so again, either you take the LINC program, you go to English, ESL classes, English for employment, essential skills training, or again, the CELPIP test. And now going back to the question that just was asked. So before you come to Canada, or if you just came to Canada, one thing that I would highly recommend is go to the Immigrant, Refugees and Citizenship Canada website, IRCC, and access all the services that are offered to newcomers. So when you go to the Immigrant, Refugees and Citizenship Canada website, what you want to look at, you want to also look at settlement services. If you are settling in a city, let's say if I live in Japan and I want to move to Calgary, so maybe I want to look at settlement Calgary. If I am maybe moving from Japan to Toronto, then I would look at settlement Toronto. So depending on what city you go to, so you want to see what you can do. So when you access the settlement services, you will be directed to language services, employment services, and just simple life navigating services, like what do you need to know to live in the city which you are choosing. Going back to our friend who asked the question about can I take a test? Of course you can take a test. So if you are just making up your mind and you don't know where to go and what to do, so one thing you can do a self-assessment test, which you don't need anybody to supervise you, so you can do it at home. The CLB Online Self-Assessment test can be found, and I place here the website, so you guys can go to the website, as long as you have a valid address. And if you have personal, they will require some personal information to input when you are registering. So when you do the self-assessment, so you will get an estimate, like an approximate test result. For example, let's say I want to know how I am doing, because I suggest before going and registering for the official test, do this online test so that you know where you are and what you can revise. Maybe, you will see that, oh, when I did the listening, I struggled with the listening, or maybe my reading is not there yet. So you can still work on these skills and you can get higher benchmarks. One of the typical mistakes the newcomers usually make is once they land in a city, they rush to get tested at their, an assessment center. And so please allow yourself time. So you need to get used to the accent that's spoken in the city, because even if you have the best language skills, in different parts of Canada, people speak with a different accent. And so you need your ear to get used to, for instance, to that local accent that's spoken, for example, in Calgary or in St. John's, or I don't know, in Winnipeg. So give yourself 1 or 2 or at least 3 weeks and then register for the the assessment test. And meanwhile, do the self-assessment.
Is this online assessment test, it's free?
Yes, it is a free test.
Okay,
so all you guys need is you need 60 minutes of quiet space. You need a headset. Just give yourself enough time to complete it. Before you start doing the test, you have to have this CLB Online Self-Assessment note sheet ready, because you need to do the listening test. So try to do it yourself. Don't ask your mom, dad, brother, sister to help, because you want to see where your language skills are at. You don't want to evaluate your friend or your family member. So please don't use a dictionary of any kind, and complete all the tests. Don't stop because you can't stop the test. So just try your best and make the best guess you can. When you register for the test, there'll be some technical requirements. You have to have a headset, you have to have quiet space, your computer has to be functionable. So sometimes we have a computer that requires updates, so you don't want this to happen while you are doing this. And So when you get, for example, you do, the only thing is that with this test will assess your listening and reading only. So because it's a self-assessment test, there is no person, human being behind this. So it's a machine that's checking your test. So what they're going to do, they're going to give you an approximate benchmark range. For example, you may get 5 to 6. So if I was a student who was taking the test, I would probably, I always think, okay, if the range is 5 to 6, I would say probably you are CLB 5. So don't think, because it always go with the lowest score. And this is my personal recommendation. If you want to believe you are at 6, fine. But from the experience I've had and students I've seen taking the test, usually if the lowest one indicates their real assessment, the real level. And then why is it important to take it? Because you are waiting. You want to you want to do something while you're waiting to be, assessed by referral and testing center. And B, some of the language assessments will use your results as well, especially now during COVID times. So it's always good to have it there.
So this test isn't just a practice test, then it is something that you will be judged on. Is there a limit to how many times you can take the online assessment?
I think you can take it as many times. I think with one email address, I think you can take it only once. But I don't know if you can take it. I haven't tried that. I don't know. But why do you want to take it 3-4 times? So this test is going to give you an approximate level. It's going to tell you, okay, you are at 4. So that 4 to 5, for example. Okay, if you get this, well, I am probably at CLB 4, but I need to get into a college, and for example, the admission requirements are 8. Okay, so I am at 4. I need 4 more benchmarks to work on.
What is the complete range of the benchmarks?
Say it again, please.
The complete, the range of the benchmarks. What's the least experienced level, and then I guess fluent. What counts as a fluent?
So if you absolutely have 0 English, you will get pre-B. You absolutely don't do anything. But hopefully you guys know something. So then, yeah, the lowest would be level 0. But you don't want to be in. If you are in this workshop, I think if you understand me, then you're definitely not at 0. So that's for sure.
And then what's the best?
Pardon me? The maximum you can go to is 12, benchmark 12.
And is that fluent, or is that just?
You are benchmark 12. You're probably somebody who graduated from a PhD program at a university.
Okay, all right.
So you to get, just for the audience to understand, so to get into a university or college, you're required to have an 8. So a native speakers, that's what they say, a native speaker is somebody who graduates from high school would be at probably 8 or 9. So if the more, it's not only about being fluent or sounding like a native speaker, but it's also about the complexity of the language the vocabulary that you use, and how challenging how you're making the choice of vocabulary. So it's more than just fluency. It's also content as well, that it's important, and the higher. So after CLB, I would say 8 is somebody who is in university in a master program, and then if you are finishing all, you probably should be somewhere at 12. But it's quite a long learning journey, guys. So slowly but surely you can get there. Okay. So how do you access services? So let's say you've done your self-assessment, okay, maybe I am at 4, or maybe I'm at 5, or maybe I'm at a 3. So that's okay, whatever level you are at, no problem. You can get where you need to get. So what I would suggest, visit an organization that helps newcomers. So you can't do it alone. And I do not advise you to do it alone. You need support. You need people to guide you through. So again, going to the Immigrant, Refugees and Citizenship Canada website. And I shared with Benita. Benita will be able to post all the links in the chat, I think, right, Benita?
All of the links are actually in the description of the video that you guys are watching right now. So
Okay.
you'll be able to access them as we speak.
So you can access, you go to the federal government website and access the organization that helps newcomers in your city, wherever you are. For instance, in Calgary, if I want to go now, I have my self-assessment and I'm not sure, I want to go and get a formal assessment. So I will go to a language assessment, the referral center. And it doesn't matter where you are. In every single city, big city, there is one. However, if you are in a small town maybe, so they also, I know that the language assessment and referral centers, they do remote services as well. So as long as you register, you can, especially right now that everyone is online, you will be able to join and be tested. So once you get a formal language assessment, they will give you a referral to a service provider, or as we say, to a language school. So once you have the formal assessment in your hand, so you know where to go and what's next. So the way the referral works, either you do your homework and you tell the counselor when you get there, hey, I want to go, for example, to YWCA. And where I want to go to TIES, like to our organization, because maybe TIES is one block away from us. Then if you request, usually the council would give you a referral to the school that you request. But it's in your best interest. I think what they look at the address which is closest. Like for instance, if I live in the Northwest and I want to go to a school in Southeast, in Calgary, for example, it might take me, I don't know, maybe an hour by bus to get there. So usually the council advise the clients to choose a school which is closest to their home. You don't have to follow that if you don't want to. If you're ambitious about, studying at school A, B, or C, you have to tell them. Okay.
So are you able to go to these schools without one of these formal referrals?
You cannot go. Well, in Calgary, I don't know again, and the things are done differently in different cities, but once you get assessed, what you have to do, you have to ask the counselor, whoever you're going to talk to at the language assessment and the referral center, because I know that before, for example, like once you were assessed, they would give you the referral and you were free to go wherever you wanted to. They would give you a list. They used to give us a list, and clients would walk around the city and join. In Calgary, for example, it's very strict. So you get two options. So before COVID, there were two options, two schools, option A and option B. And clients were able to go, let's say, if they went to option A and option A said, listen, there are 50 people ahead of you. And so clients would say, no, thank you, I want to go to option B. So then they would go to a different school, and they got placed in a different school. During COVID times, clients get only one referral because referrals are, emailed. So nobody's actually walking around with a piece of paper in their hands unless it's the school is opened and they have on-site services. But right now, just very few agencies offer that service because of COVID-19. Do you have any other questions, or I can continue?
You can go ahead.
Okay, so once you got the referral, you've chosen you have your idea in mind, and you know what school you go to. So you go and register to the language class, and then you start taking the language classes. So your best option, if you are a newcomer to Canada, the best program, I think, and free of charge, is language instruction for newcomers to Canada, LINC. For those of you who speak French and want to learn French, it's Cours de langue pour les immigrants au Canada, CLIC. So depending on what city you are, if you are in Montreal, you definitely need CLIC. If you are in Winnipeg, you need LINC. So depending on what city you are, you choose the program that you need the best. Okay.
So we have a question just regarding the online CLB level assessment test. One of our viewers, Sakita Piraran, is wondering if they can use the result from this test for the requirement for immigration purposes.
Okay, I'll answer that question. Unfortunately, guys, you cannot, even if you get CLB 12, you cannot use the assessment, because that's, when you go, let me go back. So you cannot use the result that you get from a language assessment at referral center, because that's a placement test. So this is like a snapshot of your level of English. It is not proof that, this cannot be considered as proof that you are ready to apply for citizenship. This is why you need to be either in a LINC program, or you need, so another option, either you need proof from LINC, or you need to have the CELPIP done. I think this, I don't know if they take, I just, it was such a long time ago when I applied for citizenship. I don't really remember if they take IELTS or TOEFL. I don't think they do. I know that I'm pretty confident that LINC and CELPIP are the two tests that are used by IRCC. So if you just take the referral and placement test, they will not, you can't apply with that for citizenship. You still have to go to a LINC program. So what clients do, they would, if you get it, for example, you've been assessed by a referral center, a language assessment and referral center, so they will join a language school. They will do, if your goal is just to get citizenship, if you have strong language skills, you can pay $280 and get, take CELPIP. And, once you get those years, I think you need to be living in Canada for 3 years or so to apply for citizenship. So you can do that, or you go to the language group, to LINC, and study and get, once you get a certificate from LINC, you can apply for citizenship.
How long does it take to get a certificate from LINC usually?
Okay, depending on what level you are. So now I'm going to talk about LINC, and I'll explain to our friends online how long it takes to get a certificate in the LINC program. So LINC, as I said, is a language training program. It's funded by IRCC, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. It's a free program, and clients can be in the program until they become Canadian. So technically, until your official ceremony, until you go and swear in, you can come to the LINC program. Sometimes clients take the test, or they apply for the test, and they go and take the test, and sometimes they don't pass. I hope you guys don't get to that point, but if you didn't pass, it's not the end of the world. You can always retake the test. In the worst case scenario, you can meet with a judge and you still eventually pass. You are allowed to be in the program until the official ceremony, so you can still work on your English skills. LINC helps clients get ready for life in Canada and for citizenship. You can have, like I mentioned before, you can go and study in whatever agency you like. You can do it online, or you can do it in the classroom with other students. We do have flexible schedules, so it's full-time, part-time, depending on how much in a rush are you. So do you want to go? Sometimes I remember when I used to teach, my students would come and say, "Teacher, I want to go fast." But you know what? I am a second language learner, and I do not believe in the more English you're going to study, the faster you're going to go. Because think about, like, I remember showing my students, so look at this coffee mug, like how much coffee can I place in it? I mean, I might want to place more than it can hold, but it's going to explode. It's the same with your brain. So you can't put as much as you want. You have to give yourself time, because the more you're going to study, it's not going to necessarily mean that the better. You have to have some consistency. So you can't rush yourself and not have a life. So you're still in Canada, enjoy life, but also study. So take your time and do it slowly but surely, rather than, the faster the better. I'm not sure faster the better is the best option in this situation. And aside from offering different, schedules, we also, some of the programs, for example, at TIES, we offer child minding. So what that means, if you're a young parent and you have a child, and you want to study, but you have no one to leave your child with, or maybe you don't have money to pay a daycare. So you come to class. While you're in class, your child goes to a child minding program. So in the child minding program, the children are going to learn English, they're going to play, they're going to have gross motor time, they're going to socialize with other children, they're going to learn about Canadian culture and Canadian holidays, and they will just simply learn to speak English. So I think it's a perfect program for those parents who have nobody to help them with the children. Benita, did you have a question?
And the child minding services is also at no cost to the students. Oh, so that's wonderful.
Yes, so no zero money, guys. If you have children, just bring them. So what, can everybody join LINC? Well, yes, if you are a permanent resident of Canada, if you're a convention refugee, or if you're a person who has a letter of initial approval of permanent residency from Citizenship and Immigration Canada, if you're at least 18 years old, and if you took the language assessment test at the Language Assessment Center, like we talked just a minute ago. Okay, so what are the general LINC guidelines? So you can study at, I'm going to talk about ties. Yeah, I don't know, in other provinces and other cities, things might be different. I know that other institutions offer up to CLB 12. In Calgary, at our organization, we can offer up to CLB 8, and the reason we've chosen so because 8 is the benchmark that is required for admission to colleges and universities. So you can study up to CLB 8 in LINC at our organization. So you can advance to the next level when your benchmarks improve. So for example, if you're in a full-time class, and in our case, a full-time class is 5 days a week. So for 25 hours in total. So we have classes Monday to Friday. So Monday to Thursday is 8:30 to 2:30, and Friday is 8:30 to 11:30. So you study up for approximately 4 months, and a minimum of, for a part-time class, it's almost half a year, because they study 3 hours only Monday to Thursday. You need to have good attendance. You can't come one day and the second day you're going to Starbucks to have coffee with your friend, and day number 3 maybe you're walking in the park. No, you have to be committed. You have to commit to language learning if you want to improve. And with language, if you know what people say, use it or lose it. So if you don't practice, you don't improve. So you have to practice every single day. Not like you don't sleep at all, but you have to practice. Once benchmarks improve, so you, after every single, let's say if you are in a pre-B class, let's say you came with 0 English, you joined level 1, CLB 1, so at the end of the class, you're going to get the certificates. Every time you improve in one benchmark, the school will issue you a certificate. And students, Benita, do you have a question?
Oh, no, I was just saying, okay, so each benchmark, you receive a new certificate.
Yes, because the reason why we do so, because some students apply for citizenship, other students use the certificates for employment. Some of the employers require, because they want to see, what you are doing. And aside from this, for example, like in Calgary, we also have quite a few students at our organization that are on Alberta Works, and they get some financial support from the Alberta government, and their counselors want to see how they are doing. So that's why it's good to have this certificate, so to show that yes, I'm working on my English, yes, I am improving. We in LINC, we use PBLA, which is portfolio-based language assessment for teaching and assessment, and in a few minutes I'll explain to you guys what that is all about. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, just another question. Someone was wondering, Archana was wondering if how the language assessment centers are working during COVID.
Okay, so I can tell you, because we collaborate, we're in a partnership with them. So we just hosted two assessments. So the way it's done, if you are a person who has a laptop at home, so the assessor is going to send you a link, and you log into Zoom, and so they will do the assessment through Zoom. They do not assess your writing at this point. So for example, they will assess your listening, speaking, and reading. So writing, they don't do writing. So if you have been assessed before, they will use that benchmark. If you haven't, so they will leave it and they will assess it later. So for now, it's just free skills, which is fine, because once you are in the LINC program, the teacher can assess you, can give you assessments, and you kind of start fresh. So if you come, for example, to the program with 2, listening, speaking is 2, reading is 2, and maybe writing you haven't been assessed, so the teacher can start assessing you at CLB 2. So if you pass, you get the 2 and move on. Those clients who don't have a laptop and cannot do it at home, or maybe they don't have internet, so there are some agencies that the referral and assessment centers work with. For example, like we are in Calgary, we are one of those. So clients come, and we sit them in a quiet room. We provide the laptop and internet, and we help them log in, and the assessors do the test. So it's done online, but such is life. What can we do, guys? Unfortunately, we can't change that. Okay, so in LINC, as I said before, we use PBLA for teaching and for assessment. So what that means, this is a new concept, and I mean, not so new maybe for us, might sound new for you. We have been implementing PBLA at TIES since 2016. So since 2016, we had full implementation. So what that means is that the students are part of the learning and assessment process. So when you join the class, so for example, you come with your CLB 2. So at the beginning of the semester, the teacher is going to conduct a needs assessment. So the teacher is going to ask you, okay, guys, why are you here? What do you want to learn? And then, so this is called the needs assessment. So maybe you will say, well, I want to learn English because I want to find a job. Somebody will say, well, I need English because I need to know how to talk to my kids' teacher. Somebody's going to say, I need English because I want to go to university. So based on the needs that you express, so the teacher creates the modules, or creates the kind of a how can I say, a plan of what they are going to teach you in class. So it's geared towards the students' needs. It's not what, for example, the teacher wants. Maybe the teacher likes to teach you only about Canada, but maybe you are very good, maybe you have very strong knowledge about Canada, maybe you don't need that, but you need help with employment. So then you guys focus on employment. So you're going to be, when you join the program, you're going to be given a binder. If you see, you may see it here in the picture. And so the binder is made of 2 parts. So one part is the language companion, and the other part is your portfolio. So in the language companion, and we have 3 stages of these binders. So for literacy clients, get 1 type of binder, stage 1. And when I say stage 1, this means pre-B and CLB 4. And stage 2, this means CLB 4 to CLB 8. So the first part of the binders will contain the first binder would be, the first part would be the language companion. And in the language companion, you're going to have information about My Canada, about the province you live. So if you live in Alberta, you'll have information about Alberta. If you live in Ontario, you would have information about Ontario. If you live in Nova Scotia, would be information about Nova Scotia. And then you have helpful English, which is a part that I really love, because you have grammar, you have different tips on how to interact, for example, how to select things that are both useful for social interaction and work direction. So I think that's neat. And then you have my notes. Your portfolio, when you get it, it's an empty, so you just have the tabs, you don't have anything. So this is where you're gonna start collecting the artifacts. So you're gonna have about me, the listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So what that means, in about me, you're gonna place your needs assessment, your goals. You're gonna set goals with your teacher, what you want to do with English, and what do you want to study. And then during the semester, the teacher is gonna give you assessments in listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and you're gonna insert them in your binder. So what PBLA is a teaching and assessment model. So instead of having a final test at the end of the semester, you'll be assessed a lot of times during the semester. So in PBLA, assessment is part of learning. So what that means, for example, when you get an assessment, let's say maybe the teacher is going to ask you to write a letter to your employer saying, or maybe an email to an employer saying that you can't come to work because maybe you are sick. So, and this would be your task. So when you do this and you pass this, maybe you made some mistakes. So then the teacher will give you feedback. And usually we give action-oriented feedback, which means something that's going to make you become better. Because if I say, good job, from this comment, you don't learn anything. But if you say, well, you've done a good job, for example, writing the email. However, you might want to revisit the punctuation, for example, like revisit commas after, I don't know, commas in compound sentences, or commas in, like, teachers will tell you exactly what you need to focus on. Or maybe you are struggling with the present continuous, and the teacher will say, hey, listen, you need to work on your present continuous because, look at this sentence. So they will be very specific in their feedback. So in the middle of the semester, you're going to have a midterm conference where the teacher is going to revisit what you have been doing up to that moment. And the teacher is going to say, listen, you're doing well in listening and speaking. However, your reading and writing is not really there. So you are struggling, for example, you are a slow reader. So you need to work maybe on your speed, or maybe your writing is not there yet. I mean, look at, you are writing very simple sentences, but you need, maybe at this level, you need to start using more, transition words, for example. So teachers will tell you how you can make your language better. So then for the second part of the semester, what you can do to hit that benchmark that you are aiming to, or you are planning to get. So we think that in PBLA, assessment is more accurate and fair, rather than just going to a test and maybe you have stress, maybe you were sick all the night and you failed the test. While in PBLA, you're going to have a few chances, so you will have quite a few assessments before the end of the semester. So even if you failed one, you still have other 5 or 6 to catch up. Assessment criteria are clear and they are shared with the client, with the students before the assessment.
Is that through like a rubric, or?
Yes, they will get a rubric where, so for example, if you are doing a speaking assessment, let's say maybe your teacher wants you to, I forgot to mention the most important, that in the LINC program, we use real world tasks. So we're not going to teach you something abstract, something that you will never need in your life. So everything that is being taught in the LINC program is relevant to what you're going to face in your real life. So the teachers will teach you, for example, how to make a phone call, how to book an appointment at your doctor's office, how to talk to your child's teacher, how to maybe apply for a new bank account, how to apply for citizenship, and exactly these kind of things will be taught. So in class, you will have similar situations. So you will, for example, the teacher will say, okay, now you're going to call the bank and book an appointment to open, for example, credit line. So, and this will be, so you will have to do a speaking assessment with the teacher. So the teacher will say, hey, good morning. And you'll have to say, good morning. My name is Jana Chubano, and I would like to book an appointment with one of the bank, I don't know, representatives or bank, I don't know, whoever, I don't know the titles there. So to open a bank account. So, and then based on that, so whatever you guys need, the teachers are creating their real world tasks. So it's not abstract concept, it's always something that you need in life. So you can practice in class. So when you go in real world, you already have the skills to use the English that you need to at that particular situation. Okay? Good.
Yeah,
Continue.
makes sense. Yeah, continue.
So I wouldn't expect to have anybody on the call who is probably LINC literacy clients, but maybe you guys have friends, relatives. So we do have in the LINC program, we also have a literacy program. So this program is for also landed immigrants and refugees. It's for clients that have 0 to 8 years of education, or maybe interrupted, or maybe limited education. So they can go with the mainstream, with the main CLB clients. So they will be placed in a particular program which is much slower than the CLB program. So, and the teachers, will provide more support, will teach it at a slower pace, will use different font. So it's a perfect program for those people who never went to school, or maybe went to school but just for a very short time. And at TIES we have 4 different levels. I think it's not just at TIES, it's all over Canada. It's the same. So if you have friends, relatives, or maybe grandparents, sometimes, a grandparent might be like my grandma, for example, never went to school. So she would have fit into this program perfectly well. But, if you've been to school, then you definitely join this LINC CLB program. We do have a LINC blended, which is a combination of LINC online and LINC in person. So we use a learning management system. So this program is for somebody who maybe is busy with their job, or maybe they have unstable working hours. So in that situation, this is a good class for you. So the way it works, so 3 hours, so the teacher will give you self-study tasks that you will do at home online, and you'll post your old, for example, like the teacher will give you maybe, okay, read this paragraph or read this text and answer this question. So that would be on you. So you'll have to do it on your own, and you will place them on the, in our case, I'm just using TIES, but if you are in another program, so it's pretty much the same. So you'll place your answers on the learning management system. And then when you come to class, so when you meet with the teacher, so the teacher will go over what you've done at home, and will teach you something that maybe you didn't understand, or maybe you missed, or maybe you are not clear. So that's called the LINC blended. So this is another option of LINC. You can also join. Right now, LINC blended is also online because, but I mean, it's kind of it's the way it's made. It's 3 hours online with the teacher and 3 hours online with yourself, like a self-study.
Right now, are all of the options just online due to COVID?
The only classes that we brought on site is the literacy classes, and specifically not all the literacy, but just the literacy foundation, because this is the most challenging level. These are the people who absolutely have zero English. They can't even write their name. So imagine for them, it is a challenge to be online. They were online until September 28th. So we just brought them back on September 28th. But literacy 1, 2, 3, 4, they're all online.
Oh, okay, I see.
Right now. It is challenging, but what can we do? Such is life. We can't stop, right? We have to do something. So for we also have LINC home study, and it's not just in Calgary. I think in Ontario you have LINC home study as well, in other provinces as well. So this is it's a free program. And so LINC home study is absolutely for those people who are super, super, super busy. So the way that works, it's like, I always like to look at LINC home study as a tutoring program. It's something like you would meet with a teacher. There'll be no class. You are not going to have classmates. It's going to be you and the teacher. So the teacher, you'll meet with the teacher for half an hour a week. So the teacher, maybe you can ask. It's really good for students who have self-study skills and students who are at the high level of English, so they can join. For example, if you are at CLB4 and you know how to study English, you know how to use the listening, techniques, or the speaking, how you can practice on your own, then this is a perfect class for you. Or maybe you are at CLB6 and you are working just on idioms and you want help with that, so when you're meeting for half an hour with the teacher will address your needs during that half an hour. So that's you're meeting only half an hour a week with the teacher alone. So this is like a tutoring program. It's an amazing program for those who have no time but want to study, and those who have self-study techniques and know how to study on their own.
So it's a little bit more advanced.
Yes, correct. And to join the LINC home study, in our case in Calgary, so for at our school, you have to be a resident of Calgary to receive LINC home study with our organizations. But if you are a different organization, requirements might be different. So again, you have to ask. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is all what I've been talking about. So the LINC for the CLB clients, and LINC literacy, LINC blended, and LINC home study, all of these are free of charge programs, and all of these programs will allow you to get to get you into a university, college, and also offer you a chance to apply for citizenship. The other programs that I'm going to talk about now is ESL. And these ESL programs are open to everybody and whoever wants to improve English. Some of the ESL programs for some of the ESL programs you might have to pay. For some of the ESL programs you have to apply for funding. So it depends. Not everybody is eligible. Like, for example, I know that at colleges, for example, in Calgary, so if you want to, let's say, if I want to study, maybe I want to become a hygienist, and maybe I am already a Canadian citizen, so I can't go to LINC anymore, but my English is not there yet. Like, I'm not ready to be a hygienist, and I still feel I need help. So I would apply for an ESL program. Now, provincial governments usually, and I know that for example, in Alberta, there are funding available for ESL programs, specifically for those clients who have clear career goals. So if you have a clear career goal, so sometimes the provincial government will fund you. And how you can find out about this, again, when you go to the Referral and Assessment Center, you're going to meet with the counselor, and when you sit with the counselor will tell you. If the counselor doesn't tell you, you ask. But you can also look, like when you are checking your options and you want to know, what am I going to do with the language? So if you are not a Canadian citizen, of course, take advantage of everything that's free. If you become Canadian, but maybe your English is not strong enough, then see what you can get for free first. And then if you absolutely cannot get anything for free, then you apply for funding. So here I shared a few of our ESL programs that are available on our website and at our school. So you may join them whenever you would like. What else did I want to tell you? Okay, so for example, one of the ESL programs that we We also offer ties, and I'm sure that it's offered in other provinces and cities as well. It's called OpenESL. So these are intermediate level English classes. So for visa holders, so those who have an interest in moving to Canada. Classes are taught online by Canadian volunteers, teachers using the Zoom platform. So if you look here, guys, at cost, you see that there is a cost to this program. So it's $12 to $200 per month. So it's not, unfortunately, it's not a free program. We also have the DropInESL, which I think this is perfect for those people who have shift work. So for example, maybe you work 3 days a week and 2 days you are available. So you come to class when you are available. Every single day, the way that works, every single day, the volunteers are going to teach a different class. So if you missed yesterday, you can still get the handouts from yesterday and you can catch up if you'd like. If not, when you come to class, it's a brand new class. So the way they build the classes are in such a way so that, you know, you learn every day, you learn a little bit of something. So it's, if you, again, the eligibility criteria, so you can be, even if you can be a Canadian citizen to join this program, PR residents and refugees are also welcome. So if you look at the costs, so for 2 months, if you are a citizen or PR or a refugee, you pay only $15. For refugee claimants, it's $200, and I think for visitors, it's $200 as well. Another program which I really love is English Conversation, which is also a free program. So you can, or we also call it ECHO for short. It offers free weekly online classes for beginner, intermediate, and advanced students. So you can connect with other English learners and you can improve your language skills through conversation. If you just need to practice. Unfortunately, this program will run until February 2021, but you still have time, you may join. So I knew that, and I talked to the manager of this program yesterday, and she was saying that she has people even from abroad joining. So you don't have to be in Calgary to join, so you're free to register, and here is the link. So register and participate and improve your English. Okay. So I don't know why my presentation all of a sudden stopped. Okay. So one thing, can you see it, Benita?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the most important, I don't know why it's keeping me, what's not getting me to, 1 second. Sorry, guys, a few technical problems. Okay. So one of the most important things in I think, when you learn English.
It's fine. I think if you have it in.
Is it okay if I open like this?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So I may speak about language learning, nonstop, but I believe that language without culture is nothing. So you guys, yes, it's important to focus on improving your language skills, but it's also very important to work on improving your Canadian culture. And if you are planning to work in Canada, the Canadian workplace culture is a must. So the reason we need language works hand in hand with culture. So you cannot function in Canada if you don't understand the cultural norms. Canadians are very indirect. So sometimes, they might say one thing, but, you never know what they mean. So that's why I highly recommend that you learn as much as you can about Canadian culture. If you're at the low level, so I think for low level students, it's really hard to pick on, these cultural nuances. But when you are at the higher level, I would say CLB 4 and 5, CLB 4 and higher. So you can read already about Canadian culture, you can learn. So things to consider, something that you need definitely you need to focus on small talk. You need to be able, even if you, when you go to a job interview, you need to be able, when people are talking, asking, hey, so did you find our place all right? So you need to have an answer to say, yeah, thank you. You know, your assistant gave me clear directions. Or did you have a good weekend? Oh yeah. So we take these things for granted, but I think that's something that we need to practice. And another thing is, um, when the more language you get, the higher your level becomes, the more ready you are for getting all this, you know, language, for example, like conversation feelers. So when somebody's talking, you can just be quiet. So if somebody says, hey, you know, I bought a new car, and so you have to have a reaction. Oh, you did? Fine. Congratulations. You know, what did you get? So for example, I got a Toyota. Oh, I have a Toyota too. So these are the things that they do not come. And sometimes, like in LINC, in the LINC program, in especially, I remember when I used to teach CLB 6 and 7, I used to teach, you know, cultural norms a lot, and workplace culture a lot. Because, you know, sometimes you approach your boss and you say, hey, you know, I need a month off. I want to go home. And your boss will say, well, you know, let me think. And if you hear this hesitation in your boss, in your boss voice, so what does that mean? How are you going to interpret that? These are the things that you will learn from learning about the Canadian culture, and especially learning about the workplace culture. So I place here some of the books that I mean, I don't know, some Matt Adolphi, you can find him online. I think he has, if you search him on YouTube, I know that he used to do presentations. I don't know what he does now, but I highly recommend you to read The Canadian Workplace Culture. You're going to have fun. It's an easy book to read, and it's fun and it's engaging. Another one that he also wrote, Would You Hire You? You know, things that what to consider when you're applying for a job, and are you ready for a job? I also placed the LINC classroom activities. So in volume 1, you're going to have social interaction, so you can practice online, because the LINC classroom activities has a book as well. So you can practice with that as well. And you know, sometimes people say, well, the most important for me is to get a job. No, that's not the most important. The most important is to keep the job. So, you know, you are hired, now what? So this is an excellent book on how to keep the job. It is, you know, what we say, when in Rome, do as Romans do. So that's absolutely correct. So I think don't take culture for granted. So you need to learn about, you know, Canadian culture as well as workplace culture. Please read and try to practice. You know, work on conversation feelers. Learn how to react, how to, you know, where to compliment people. Even if you don't like, I remember I'm a person who likes rain, for example, but everybody around me likes sunshine. And when people say, "Oh, it's a beautiful day today," even if I like the rain, I wouldn't say, "No, actually, you know what? No, it's not a good day because I love rain." I agree with the person. It doesn't mean you're lying, but you want to keep a conversation going, and you want to build rapport, and you want to build connection with that person. So just to say, "Yeah, it's a beautiful day," absolutely, and move on. Small talk is not to disagree with somebody. Small talk is just to get. It's like, you know, a lubricant. It's something that makes a conversation smooth and nice. And I have been talking for a long, long time. I think we have only 3 minutes, or how long do we have?
Yeah, we have 5 minutes left for if
Okay.
anyone has some final questions. Now's your chance to ask them. And if anything comes to mind, you can also email Jana at...
Can you see if I type it now?
Yep. Yeah, we can see it at Janet Chabanu at immigrant-education.com as well.
.ca.
That's .ca.
So if you guys have any questions, feel free to send me an email. So thank you very much. I wish you all the best. I know it's hard, but I know you can do it. If I did it, you can do it as well. Any other questions, Benita?
I don't see any, so I think we will wrap things up. Thank you so much. I think this session was really informative. I didn't realize that there was so many options, even just with childcare and timing, staying at home, evenings, mornings, just like a lot of opportunity out there. So I hope that our audience found this useful and can hopefully take advantage of these options.
Mhm.
And thank you so much for coming on here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.